Hello viewers and welcome back to Sahara TV. With me today is Mr. Babatunde Rosanwo, a social media commentator, political analyst, human rights activist, and a former student leader in Nigeria. He's here with me in the studio to talk about just a wide range of issues across Nigeria. Thank you so much, Mr. Rosanwo, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I think to start, one of the biggest issues we've seen in the news for this week, definitely, and I think going forward we'll keep hearing about it, is the deportations going on in Lagos. And I mean, we know on the ground essentially what more or less happened, but what are the wider implications? I mean, what does it mean for Nigerians? Because maybe today it's Lagos, tomorrow it could be, and there are reports that other states have done this in the past or could. And what does it mean for Nigerians living in a particular state? Like, how would that make them feel? Like, are they citizens of this certain state, or tomorrow can they just be shipped somewhere across the country?
I think the larger question, what we should start from is, it's wrong to deport Nigerians within Nigeria.
Right.
So that's, I mean, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, and it should not be supported. The question now about Lagos State, I mean, being at the forefront of the discussion is what actually happened. Did Lagos State depart people from Lagos to other states, or it was a reunification as Lagos State claimed? We don't know. Right. But if it was reunification, say you're found on the street and you're asked, oh, you're homeless, you're jobless, you need something to find your way back home, and you say, I live in X place, and you're taken back to your state, that's okay. But when you forcefully deport people, that's a big problem. I think the larger implication for the Nigerian state is a challenge to us as what it means to be a Nigerian. And I've always said it in other forums that the whole debate is tied to resource control. So you live in Lagos, and you're not from Lagos, your state of origin is somewhere else, you pay tax in Lagos, but you cannot benefit from certain things in Lagos. That's not right. So the earlier on we move away from this idea of state of origin, and we begin to look at residence. So if you're paying tax and you reside in this state, you're entitled to everything in that state. It would be, but it's a challenge to the state. Lagos State is not the only one, moving people from one part of the country to the other. Other states are involved in this activity. It's gone unnoticed for long, and I think it's time the debate is brought to the table to say, okay, what's going on? Who's doing what? And I'm quite surprised that nobody's gone to the courts to challenge this, because I was expecting the lawyers to go to court and challenge Lagos State and saying, what happened? Hold on, just a minute. You can't do this. Yeah. And then Lagos State should be explaining, not just the governor coming on TV, to say, oh, I did not deport citizens. We should be getting a legal end to it so we don't get such occurrences. Because whatever the Lagos governor says is not law, it's not binding. It would have been nice to see the lawyers approach the court and let's get an interpretation of the Constitution as it is on why whether you can reside here for long, if you're homeless, jobless, can you stay or not? That needs to be tested in the courts.
Do you think now the fact that it's been like sort of run along ethnic lines and who's from where and stuff, is that kind of derailed? Do we need to take a step back from that? The Nigerians need to take a step back from that and then move it toward the courts? I mean, has this derailment of like whether Yorubas or Igbos or otherwise, or the state of origin, has it kind of just moved away from, people seem to be taking sides on a political level almost, rather than, like you say, there's no mention of like someone going to court to say, is this actually illegal? Is this against the Constitution? Is this against even perhaps rights that people have within the state or something like that?
You can't take the ethnic sentiments away from Nigeria. Right. Nigeria is polarized on a lot of issues. And I think that's where the problem lies. It's not, I don't like the idea that we see people firstly as from the ethnic group as opposed to citizens with rights. And so this is a big problem. I'm quite aware of the fact that some months ago, about a year, Lagos State was sending people back up to the north. And some homeless people, some jobless people, some other people, that happened. In some parts of the north, some people also claim that they were taken forcefully from the northern part and dumped into Niger Republic, all for security purpose, Boko Haram and other stuff. And I think one of the problems was when this started and the states in the north were doing this and Lagos State was sending people back to the north, the other parts of the country kept quiet. And this is where, to some point, I don't buy the old ethnic story. Well, the Igbos complaining today, I don't buy the story. I was expecting a situation where if it happened to anybody in the country, we would raise our voice. So we don't have to wait till it's an Igbo man, till it's for example, or your state. which is just close to Ogun State, to Lagos, and had people sent from Lagos back to Oyo State. What did Oyo State do? Did Oyo State keep quiet because they're both from same ethnic groups? These are reasons that we need to challenge each other and not wait. I've told my Igbo friends and brothers that this is not ethnic. This is not about the ethnicity. This is about the policy that has been practiced in Lagos State and in other states, which needs to be challenged. So the more we whip up the ethnic sentiments, we would never be able to get the real cause of the issue. And this is what we've done with a lot of social causes in Nigeria. And that's always torn us apart. That the moment we want to come together to discuss these issues as national issues, then there's the ethnic sentiment and the religious sentiments to say, oh, this was done because we are this was... I get the fact that some Igbos have even gone as far as mentioning Biafra war. Oh, this has been done since Biafra, this has been... I don't buy that. Has there been any government in the country, be it the military regimes or the democratic regime, without a representation of all the ethnic groups? None. Right. So how then do we arrive at the just... I'm not saying there is no marginalization in Nigeria. There is, of some ethnic groups. But to explicitly say just, oh, you were deported from Lagos because you were Igbo, I don't accept that. It's not true.
Right. So you think that they were picking up people at random. It wasn't like a targeted campaign.
No, I don't think so. I've just as I said to you, people were sent back to the north.
Right.
People were sent back to Oyo State.
So going forward, I mean, there's always this question, like you mentioned, the national interest, and when you take it to the national level, you get these different ethnicities and religious sentiments and things like that. But then also there's the argument for like becoming like a real federation, to have federated states, and to go back and forth. And it seems that on a national level, the government hasn't really there hasn't really been much from like the Federal Republic, for example, or the federal government of Nigeria on this whole deportation or other issues. So, I mean, does it need to come? It almost seems like the national government doesn't really say anything. The states are kind of doing what they want, but then people go back and forth. Like how do people come together if you don't have representation at national and you kind of don't have representation?
The first question the first area is, what's the interest of the federal government? And that's it. And I think the federal government is just interested in power. Whoever's at the center is interested in power, controlling the state resources, and that's it. So most times it's not about the citizens. And when you talk about representation, yeah, we do have senators representing every constituency. We have members of the Federal House of Reps. What have they done? They've kept quiet. I've not heard them. I've not heard this. For example, I find it appalling that Lagos State allegedly did this nonsense, as it's been reported. Then Anambra State goes and writes a letter to the president. To do what? To spank Lagos State governor? No, you don't do that. I mean, this is a federal state. You liaise directly with the states. And this is also the understanding of what the federal system is. Because of the power tied to the center, a lot of times issues that need to be resolved at the lower level are just taken straight to the center. Right. There's too much power in the center. There's no doubt. I mean, the 1999 Constitution on its own is something else for debate. But I think we've not been able to bring governance closer to the people. For example, the local governments don't exist. So in the first place, it wouldn't have been the duty of the state government to pick people up. It would have been the local government being in charge of its local government area, identifying these people with their residents, where they live, who are their families, and providing shelter for them if they cannot. But when it's the state government, what do you expect? It's just like a mumbo-jumbo thing. The government picks people up at random without reason. So I think what the federal government should be doing now is acting like a mediator. Bring the states together, discuss this issue. But I want this case challenged in court, not settled out politically. No, let this case go to court. So we would know for future reference who can be deported, who can be evicted, or who can be deported from us. There are many instances that I think governors of different states continue to break the law, and nothing happens, including the president, and nobody goes to court to challenge them. So we cannot really say they're wrong until it's challenged in court.
In court, right.
So that's where a lot of those things are not, well, there will be political settlements, discussions between 2 or 3 states to say, let's reach but there must be legal, our institutions must work. Right. They must work for the citizens. I don't want individuals working for the citizen, because if the president or the governor says this today, there will be elections in 4, 5, 6 years. Then we have a new man and he comes and he says, no, there was no legal backing to that decision, so I'm changing my mind, and it's going to stop, it's going to continue. So I prefer to see institutions making those decisions and standing firmly. If the governor dies today or the president dies today, the Supreme Court or the courts will not die. the institutions will not die.
Right.
So that's what we're missing out in this whole debate, that the role of the institutions is missing. And the courts would not intervene unless citizens approach the court.
Do you think, given the fact that there are so many political sentiments, and like you say, individuals acting for their own benefits and or not doing things for the people, and now, I guess, going toward the 2015 elections, there's going to be a lot more political sentiment. And people are arguing that a lot of these moves recently between this one, the River State crisis, and others are politically motivated from one side or the other. I mean, do you see, like, a need, like, how do citizens kind of move or check their politicians in this case when they just seem to be running rampant on all sides? Like you said, like,
does anyone really check Nigerian politicians?
But I mean,
are they really checked? Maybe for some reasons or in some instances they may be checked, but in majority of the time they do what they want. My fear is not because of even this deportation. I must say that in the history of Nigeria, probably since 1999, I've never seen Nigeria so divided, so polarized along ethnic and religious line. And a lot of blame goes to the president. Yes, the president has not been carrying the country along as one state. A lot of his body language, actions, inactions from the presidency without due explanation tend to be colored by ethnic decisions. And in return, there seems to be a kind of foregoing between the citizens, taking sides along ethnic groups and saying, you know what, I'm supporting this. You did this to me because you're this.
right.
So the country is polarized as it is internally, based on ethnicity, based on religion. And this is dangerous. I'm not sure what would happen in 2015. I can't predict.
Right.
But obviously, as the clock ticks, the politicians should need to adjust. But I'm not going to say it would be scary, but it would not be, let me be careful with the word I use there. It's not certainly going to be smooth.
Okay.
It won't be. 2015 will not be a smooth ride. If not for anything, for this divide. I've never seen it. Every debate is we versus them, North versus South, Christians versus Muslims. And this is not good for the nation. Not at all.
So one of the new things, I guess, going toward along those lines too, is new political parties coming up. So now we see the APC. Is there really, in your mind, any difference? Anything new that's coming out here, or is it kind of like the old guard just taking on? You know, there's a lot of like changing party for this and that, or making new party in Nigeria. If you don't succeed with one, you go to.
If you're from a party in Nigeria today, you're not going to bring the party members from Moon or from America. They're going to be Nigerians.
Right.
So once you accept that, then you should not expect too much from the new political party. My debate, my position is this. The PDP has been in power since 1999, and some signs of complacency are set in. Like, we rule the states, no opposition. And that has taken power away from the voters. So what I want to see is a situation whereby PDP is not performing, you vote for APC. APC does not perform, you vote for PDP. That would push our politicians to want to please the people, to do what we want, and not just tell me, whether we vote or not. I'm not sure. I'll say this. Within the PDP, there are governors who are performing. Within the APC, as it is now, which includes ACN, there are governors who are performing. If you would look at these individual elements within Nigeria, you would see some bright dots. But collectively, 36 states and the Federation, it's a failure. So what I would think would be different is perhaps APC showing, stalwarts from APC showing that they could have done, look at Ekiti, for example, Lagos State, for example, being able to make some minimal achievements. Could this be transformed to the national level?
Right.
That's the question. Now, you wouldn't know until you give them a chance. And that's why I'm saying, let's vote out PDP, vote out the next party. If APC does not perform, then you
vote them out again.
But when we have a one-state party, it's dangerous for the future of the country.
Right. One final question. Like you mentioned, now there's so many divisions on ethnic, religious sentiments and political sentiments.
Yeah.
But back after the fuel subsidy removal, we saw like a really coming together for the Occupy Nigeria protests. And, I feel like, or do you feel that it's going to take a return of that kind of citizen involvement on the street, really pushing the government, really showing the government that they are noticing the failures that they are doing for the country, and the fact that they're not just going to stay at home anymore. They're going to go out there and actually put pressure on them in a way that would be meaningful and force them to really change. Like the citizens almost need to just force them to change or vote them out. Or
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think we would we have that kind of protest again? No.
do you know? I guess sorry to follow. Why not?
Why not? Why did people come out on the streets? Fuel subsidy, it went off, people came out, and that was it. I'd like to clarify a point. Social media played its role, but not, let's be careful how much we aggregate to social media.
Right.
I've always said this, the social media is not a true representation of the population called Nigeria. So if you take a lot of factors, sensors, or you try to get feedback from the citizens, it may slightly differ from what you have on Twitter, though Twitter also feeds from individuals who are Nigerians. Why we may not have this kind of protest again? I feel we've gotten to this climax where Nigerians are trying to fashion the next stage. And some of the failures from Occupy Nigeria is what a lot of citizens are taking into consideration now. So the mode of engagement has changed.
Okay.
So which is an advantage. People now monitor the government more.
Okay.
People want to engage more. So it's not all in protest. People are going to the State House Assembly, National Assembly. We had the child bride and not bride thing.
Right.
There is more of a citizen participation going on. So we may not have the protest again.
Right.
But what we have now is the consciousness of the citizens. And you said something around about the Constitution. I must say this. The 1999 Constitution is a sham. I don't believe in the constitutional review process. We wrote the Constitution, the military, handed it over to us. We cannot have a referendum over this Constitution. It starts with we, the people. Where did we agree to have this Constitution? Though it's the law today, I think one of the steps to take is looking to write the Constitution of the people, for the people. And that then has to do with how the veiled interests, the interests that are already enshrined, that are benefiting from the corruption, or benefiting from the way the system is, versus the citizens. So in the long run, the citizens themselves have to stand up for what they want.
Right.
Nobody's going to give it to us.
Right.
That I know. So that's why I'm saying it's never going to be the protest.
But there's other modes of engagement.
But there are other modes of
active
modes of engagement going
exactly.
on now. For example, you see some of the politicians on Twitter, social media, you find out that people now meet in small areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to discuss Nigerian issues.
Right.
So that's something to start with. The APC, as it is a new party, is getting a lot of flanks already.
Right, exactly.
People are asking questions. Some years ago, it would have been, okay, it's a new party, let's just follow.
Right.
Now they're getting questions to say, do you just want to dislodge the PDP, or you have an agenda to change the state?
Exactly.
So those are the kind of engagements we are looking forward to.
Okay.
And I hope if we overcome the polarization, we will be able to, bring the real issues, bring the citizens to the table. Not about the politicians. I'm tired about, most of the time it's about the politicians.
Right.
While it's supposed to be
about the citizens. For the citizens.
So I think that's where we are going to. We may not get there in 2015. We will survive 2015. Beyond 2015, the debate will continue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, this was Mr. Babatunde Rosanwo with me here today to talk about a wide range of issues and share what he thinks is going forward toward the 2015 and even beyond. Like he just mentioned, there's new forms of engagement that the citizens are doing and checking the government and making sure that they themselves are going to be the ones in charge of the country. Thank you so much and stay tuned. We have a lot more coming up, and later today you'll be joining us on Skype at SaharaTV, where we're going to be taking your views and comments on the issues. Thank you. Stay tuned.
everyone, welcome to the SaharaTV experience. We're an online TV station that focuses on the underreported stories that may not be covered in the mainstream media, with the aim to inform Africans and people of African descent about the issues that directly affect their lives. SaharaTV covers a range of issues from governmental corruption, human rights, news breaks, exclusive interviews, as well as African music, culture, and fashion. Simply, we highlight various